In the deepest parts of the woods, deserts, or frozen landscapes, people have found things no one can explain. Not ancient cities or alien statues, I mean the real stuff. Kits buried by evil people, bizarre shrines made of bones, limbs found hundreds of miles from the nearest human. These are real and terrifying discoveries made in the middle of nowhere, and every single one was found by accident. In 2011, landscapers digging near a remote property in Eagle River, Alaska, found a sealed black bucket filled with weapons and tools. It was labeled with tape, buried deep, and packed with a silenced weapon, rope, zip ties, and cash. Turns out it was a part of a series of kits hidden across the US by serial killer Israel Keyes. Keyes admitted to burying these kits years in advance, sometimes in states he hadn't even visited yet, waiting for the right victim. To this day, the FBI believes several of his kits are still buried, waiting to be found in random, desolate areas. In 2015, a woman riding an ATV along an overgrown logging road near Chehalis, Washington, stopped when she saw something in the grass. It turned out to be a human skull completely exposed and no other bones around. She called the police, who conducted a large-scale search and uncovered more scattered bones, plastic sheeting, and clothing fragments. The remains were eventually identified as Nancy Moyer, a woman who had been missing since 2009, but here's the twist. Her suspected killer had already confessed, then recanted, and was let go due to lack of evidence. The area was so remote it's unclear how anyone even found it or why the bones were so spread out. In 2019, hunters in Florida's Ocala National Forest stumbled upon a clearing with dozens of rotting shoes, backpacks, and bones. At first, investigators feared it was a mass grave, but when they combed the site, they found a mix of animal and human remains, mostly unidentifiable. Among them were ID cards, glasses, and clothing that didn't belong to any reported missing persons. The case was quietly labeled a quote dumping site, but the public never got an official statement. Locals say similar finds have happened there at least 4 times in the last 30 years. In 2021, a man camping off a fire trail in the Blue Ridge Mountains near Asheville, North Carolina, found a circle of rocks with dozens of small animal skulls, feathers, bones, and what appeared to be human molars. There were also melted candles, claw marks on nearby trees, and symbols carved into bark. Experts later said the setup resembled Appalachian folk magic, possibly a protection spell or even a banishment ritual. The teeth were real, but never matched to any known missing persons or anything nefarious. Otherwise, the site was abandoned and never claimed. In 2014, hikers exploring a side trail off Blue Hills Reservation in Milton, Massachusetts, spotted something strange in the brush. A human arm cleanly severed and partially decomposed. Police launched a full search and soon discovered multiple limbs scattered across the area, as if someone had tried to hide them but didn't really do a very great job. The remains belonged to Ronald Russo, a 50-year-old man who had been reported missing. Investigators eventually arrested Walter Marino, who admitted to killing Russo, dismembering his body, and dumping the parts throughout the dense 6,000-acre forest. Some of the limbs were found in shallow pits, others tossed in open spaces, as if the placement was deliberate and maybe even symbolic. In 2019, a Tennessee landowner was cleaning overgrown brush behind his remote property when his tractor struck something that cracked like wood. It wasn't wood, it was actually a human femur. A full excavation revealed a makeshift burial pit containing 7 sets of human remains, all in various states. The bodies ranged from young adults to the elderly, but none matched any known missing persons in the region. Forensics revealed signs of blunt force trauma, and one skeleton had surgical implants with missing serial numbers, meaning the identity couldn't be traced. The FBI quietly took over the investigation, but no further information was released. Locals began calling the spot, quote, the dump site, speculating that whoever did this had done it more than once. What a horrible thing to find on your property. Because now, of course, you're gonna be a suspect. I mean, it's a little suspicious, you know what I mean? But if you really were just innocent and that just happened to be on your property, oh my god, now your house is haunted, now you're in legal trouble, now you gotta be interrogated by the police for hours. It's all bad. In 2020, a group of off-grid campers stumbled across a half-buried deep freeze in a dried-out wash of a desert in Arizona. It had been chained shut with 2 heavy padlocks and was covered in sand and sun-scorched branches. When they broke it open, they found dozens of plastic-wrapped animal carcasses. Cats, rabbits, birds, each curled up into a sleep-like position. There were also jars filled with what appeared to be human hair, burned book pages, and a child's nightgown carefully folded and sealed in plastic. The Arizona Department of Public Safety took the freezer in for examination and confirmed the contents, but never shared a follow-up. Rumors quickly spread that it was evidence of a desert cult or an occult ritual site, but officially the case just went quiet. In 2017, urban explorers ventured into a long-abandoned limestone mine outside of St. Louis, Missouri, and found far more than old rocks and graffiti. Deep in the tunnels, they stumbled on a side chamber littered with scattered bones, some clearly animal, but a few looking disturbingly human. Even worse, there were Polaroid photos lying near a burnt-out fire pit. Some were warped and too decayed to see, but others showed people either unconscious or restrained, lying in what appeared to be the same tunnel system. Authorities were called, and within 2 days the entire mine was sealed off. No names were ever released, no charges were filed, and locals say they still see unmarked trucks parked near the old mine entrances at night. In 2022, a hunter in a national forest in Oregon came across a half-rotten tarp covering a backpack near a stream bed. Inside were zip ties, gloves, a roll of duct tape, candy bars, and a notebook with pages titled Plan A and Plan B. The plans outlined step-by-step instructions on how to stalk, isolate, and capture a female jogger. There were handwritten escape routes, times of day, and even fake license plate numbers. Authorities launched a quiet investigation but found no recent crimes in the area that matched. The notebook had no fingerprints, no identifying information. The case remains open, but for now, it's just a backpack left behind by someone with a very specific plan who might still be out there. In 2015, hikers in the desolate region near Joshua Tree National Park came across a scene that didn't make any sense. In the middle of a dry, cracked canyon was the mummified body of a woman seated upright, cross-legged, facing the ashes of an old campfire. Around her were animal bones arranged in a ring, melted candle stubs, and faded photographs pinned to the sand with rocks. A weather-worn journal nearby contained strange, paranoid entries like, quote, "They come when I close my eyes," and quote, "I can feel them again. I'll stay here until they leave." The woman had no obvious injuries. Officials ruled it self-inflicted isolation, but her identity was never released and no one ever claimed her. Some believe she went out to perform a ritual, others think that she was hiding from something that she believed was real and was just waiting for it to stop watching her. Ooh, that kind of gave me shivers there at the end. A little creepy. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye!